What's up, YouTubians? Gary, VWJawbreaker. Welcome back to another video where today we're going to put something on Lulu that you could very easily put on the 60 as well. This works for just about anything you want to do. Let's dive into this. So I recently got a multi-purpose lighting control logic circuit board from Webfoot Enterprises. Who's Webfoot Enterprises? Oh, you know who he is. It's the Duckman. So I picked up one of his control boards. This thing, this thing's really cool, and it solves some issues. Let's dive into it real quick. Let me tell you what it is, how it works, and what you can do with it. So this right here is literally all it is. This tiny little logic board. You see how small that is in my hand? Yeah, I know, I have big hands. Also comes with a little 3D printed case holder that this slides and locks into. What this does, you're probably going, Gary, what exactly is this? Why do I need this? Let me tell you. This right here combines multiple lighting signals into less circuits. So basically, if you want to have 3 different circuits go into 2 circuits, this will do it. What do you mean 3 different circuits into 2 circuits? That makes no sense. It really kind of does. So what if on your early cars, you know, you got the headlight, right? And in the center, you have the running light bulb, right? On the nice early style Beetle and split window bus. Well, that's just a running light bulb down in the center. What if you wanted to make that a blinker also? You can do that with this board. What if you wanted to properly run your snowflakes, the early style taillights, or a set of, you know, dune buggy style taillights to work as, you know, as they're intended? This does that. What if you wanted to tow something with your hitch? Yeah, I know, you could go on the Amazon or the eBay and you can pick up, you know, a 4 to 3 wire little controller. The problem is that puts an additional stress on your existing wiring and your existing circuits. How this works, what's separate here is your wires tie into this, but you have its own power and its own ground. So you're essentially powering this board, and then when you call for brake lights or a turn signal or tail lights or whatever, it automatically uses this power coming in to then do what it needs to do to feed that new circuit. It really takes the load off your vehicle. Now this is version 1. He has a new version out already. Guess I should have waited a little bit, but whatever. So this version 2 that he just came out with actually has a built-in fuse for it. So you don't have to actually add an additional inline fuse like we're going to do here. So I've got a little 10 amp. He recommends a 10 amp. So we don't have to actually add that. We just add power straight to it. But we're going to go ahead and go through and show you how we're going to hook this up. Now, I picked up a basic little 4-way trailer connector here. One hand. So that goes on the vehicle side. Allows you to plug in and hook your trailer up behind your vehicle. So I like using these style spade connectors. They're insulated, so therefore, I mean, they're not too close. If you wanted to run the non-insulated style, that won't be an issue. My preference, I just like running these, so that's what I run. So we'll go ahead and get ready to go ahead and start getting this set up in the bus. Show you how easy this thing is. Oh, one more thing. I'll put a link down in the description to webfootenterprises.com. Make sure you go there if you have any questions. Read through everything. It's very self-explanatory. Gives you pictures on how to hook things up. Makes things very simple and very foolproof. So, without further ado, let's get this thing installed. So this is a pretty straightforward install. Really not a whole lot you need. Of course, you need your logic control board, inline fuse for the 1st gen model. You need, you know, if you're going to run a trailer, you need some kind of pigtail harness to go down. You need some spare wire, test light, and you need some connectors. Now these, again, are the insulated spade connectors. I like these. These are also really good. These are a piggyback. So you can actually put your new wire on this, crimp it on this terminal, and then you've got the piggyback there to slide your existing terminal on, and you can double up that way. Please, for the love of God, do not use these, whatever these stupid wire piercing connectors are. They're junk, they fall apart, you have issues. If you're going to do it, do it right, use some real connectors. That's really about it. And then what we're going to do back here in the back is we need to go in here where our wiring is for our taillight assembly, back over here. And we need to basically find our running light, brake light, turn signal on this side, and then we need to run a wire over and tie into the brake light assembly, or sorry, the turn signal on this side to tie it all together. Now, on his wiring diagram that he puts online, it's very simple. Your positive comes in here, your negative goes in here, and that's what gives power to the board. However, on this situation, we also need to have our negative, which is the white wire, which supplies the ground to your trailer lights. So what I've done is made it where this right here can plug in here, like so, okay? And that's tied to that ground. This ground will come around and actually go to the vehicle to ground. But he also recommends this little hole up top here that you ground that to give an additional ground to the main board itself. So very simple, couple grounds, some power, and everything else is laid out. It's, like I said, very straightforward. Actually, according to this diagram, we can go ahead and hook up these wires because we know where they go. So again, right here is our ground. I'll go ahead and slide that on. And we're going to be using every terminal on this except for the one that goes up to dash lights if you're using this for some other type of purpose. And then we skip one and go up to the right light. And again, everything is labeled on the board as well, but he's got the diagrams online. We've got our left turn light there. Well, these terminals are tight. He uses some good stuff on there. So right there kind of gives us a good start. Again, we've got our positive coming in, and then our right turn is going to hook there, left turn from the vehicle, our turns are going to hook up there. Our taillights can actually go straight to the tail light and power it that way. All right, so now that we have our running lights on, we can take our test light here. Boy, it's really hard to get in here and show you guys, but I disconnected it, but right there, you see my test light lighting up. That is the circuit we need to tie into. So it's just a matter of using, again, one of these piggybacks right here. And we can tie into that and still be able to put it back where it belongs. And be able to basically have a jumper wire that way. So we'll put that on, and then we'll go ahead and do the same thing and get our turn signals and all that stuff tied in. You know, it's really difficult to really take you in there and show you, but we got it piggybacked, got our running light on. So if I left the wire long so I can tie it in. If I take that and hook it to the end here, boy, it's really hard to do one-handed and hold a camera. There we go. So we have power now off that long wire that's coming back in there. So now we just need to tie into the blinker on both sides, brake lights, and then we'll go ahead and bring you back, and we'll go ahead and start hooking up the board there. All right, so we got all of our wires ran. I left them long so I can kind of do a loop. We'll show you later. So now it's just a matter of hooking things in. So I've already tested all the wires to make sure they work right. But here we have our left turn switch. It's going to plug in right there, the left turn switch on the board. Got our right switch. Plug in the light switch on the board. Our dash indicator we are not using. This one here is our brake lights. And then since I already wired this one with a plug on it, it actually just needs to go to tail lights. So I just spade connector together like that. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and I'll use some of this Tessa tape, and we'll go ahead and wrap the harness and get all that squared away. And we should be pretty close to buttoning this up. So far, very simple. Let me kind of bring you up to speed here. So we have everything taped up, so it's a nice little harness. Our trailer light connector comes down off of that. Remember, we had to ground the board itself, so we have a terminal up there with a wire that's tied into everything. What I did on the back side to mount it then is I just put a little plastic P-clamp so I can hang it up in there from the wiring harness, the main harness or something like that, with a zip tie, but it still be grounded. The only thing left to do is to mount it, hook up our positive and negative with our inline fuse holder, and we should be about ready to test this thing. All right, well, it's mounted in place and everything's hooked up, and we're about ready to find out for sure, for the first time together, if this is gonna work. So there it is, zip tied up out of place. It's got the plastic holder on it. Everything's zip tied in place. Here's my wire. That's also zip tied in place so it can't pull on anything. And then I have this little doodad that plugs into the end of it that shows whether or not your tail light, left turn, right turn work. And if both of those turn signals light up at the same time, that's your brake light. So let me set you on the stand. Let's see if we wire this thing in right. Let's see if it works. You know, Duckman swears by it, so let's check it out. And I hope I don't burn the bus down in the process. Okay, we're recording. We're gonna do tail light first, left turn, right turn, and then check the brakes. Let's do it. Find out together. Actually, you're gonna find out before I will. Tail lights. Left turn. Right turn. Brake lights. Brake lights, left turn. Brake lights, right turn. Now I'm going to play it back to see what you saw. There we go. Everything works as it should. Not that I doubted Duckman. He's a very smart individual. And if you haven't subscribed to him, I don't know why you wouldn't. Dude's got a wealth of knowledge. What I doubted was, did I read his diagram correctly? Did I wire it properly? Are my connections proper? But see, that's why I used the test light to verify first before we tried it out. I didn't want to ruin anything. Now, yes, again, you can find one of these converters cheaper, but you're not going to get the same quality. Plus, by following the link down below, you are going to actually be supporting a fellow Volkswagen guy and somebody that's been a part of this community for a very long time. So, that's pretty much it. We are done. We are now ready to have taillights to pull a trailer. Very simple, very elegant, wow, elegant, really? I'm tired, it's hot, so I'm kind of struggling with words here. But anyway, it's a very simple setup. It's gonna last, and it's gonna do you well. So thanks so much for sticking around. Till the next time, guys, be kind to one another, and be good.